Done. That's that. So long, Nurgle. Now, to try and find my way back to my own timeline. Where's my phone? Maybe I can call Trazen to get Orican to send me back. Well, I'll figure it out.
Citizen, I have been sent by the Emperor to protect you from... Oh, you've already handled him. Huh. I guess I was a little late.
Great. The 10,000. Adeptus Custodes. Ascended Guardians, as the name means. Let me guess. You're Kitten, aren't you?
What? No, I am not the Captain General. I'm just a custodian. My name is Yo.
Your name is Joe?
No. Yo.
Spell it.
J-O-E.
I hate you so much. Surname?
Yo said.
You are literally a JoJo reference. What timeline am I fucking in? You know what? I'm not talking about the index. It's a bit broken right now after being kind of shit for a while, so I'm certain it'll get changed soon. I'll wait for that first. Let's talk about the nickname of the Adeptus Custodes, the 10,000. In fact, let's talk about numbers of everything in 40k, because they make damn near no sense. The 10,000 are specially bred, genetically enhanced human infants with some confusing stories about how they come about. They used to just be the personal guard of the Emperor and his toys, so they don't exactly need numbers, really, but in recent lore they've been stated as having several sub-factions as well, each with a different job. One guards the Imperial Palace, one guards the Black Vault, one guards a dude they dream about, and one just kicks ass and takes names. So, let's assume there are 10 factions, each with 1,000 soldiers. Sure, a single Custodes is the same of about 100 soldiers or more, but a lucky shot or a good grenade can still take one out. Then we've got the Codex Astartes. That shit is stupid as fuck.
Best be careful. You're shit-talking Gilliman.
And I shit-talked the lion too. You want me to call him and get him to tell you to shut your rectum-eating mouth? The Codex Astartes says that no chapter can be allowed more than 10,000 space marines across 10 companies, each with a specific job and an age requirement, unless that chapter is crusading. A very odd thing given the 10th company is mostly made up of scouts, which don't count as full-fledged marines, so that one can have more than 1,000 soldiers. But let's look at that number. 10,000. Let's look at the Battle of Atu, considered one of the smallest battles against the Japanese in World War II. You know how many were involved in that? Almost 20,000. 15,000 on the American and Canadian side, and just over 2,500 on the Imperial Japan side. Sure, argue that these are normal men fighting normal men, but from the number of shots perspective, even the power of an Astartes will still have trouble against a flood of bullets coming in. According to Games Workshop themselves, during the Third Tyrannic War, the Blood Angels had to call in other chapters totaling up to 30,000 Marines to fight against the Hive Fleet Leviathan. It takes a full year for a fully implanted, with all extra organs, Space Marine Blood Angel to become a full Marine. Then some more training, but most of that training is done during their scout phase, so whatever. Astartes are usually started at age 10, 10 being considered old to join Space Marine factions. Depending on the chapter, the training and augmentation and such can end in about 3 years, or it can take 20! So a Space Marine creating one is slow as molasses in the winter. But let's look at the human side of things. Looking for numbers about the Imperial Guards? Look, I agree with Josh Strife Hayes, I'm not calling them Astra Militarum. That name was a single unit, not the entire Star Army. But looking for numbers about these guys in any event is an extreme difficulty. But I managed to find one. During the Indomitus Crusade, in the Pariah Nexus system, there's an event called the Argovon Campaign, a single battle between several different factions. This was a fight between Eldar and Mankind primarily, but the Mechanicus and the Necrons got involved. You know how many humans were involved in this? 4,000 to 5,000. Sounds like a lot until you realize that this was multiple planets worth of soldiers. The D-Day invasion alone was 100 times larger than this campaign. And this is all over the place when it comes to Warhammer's numbers. I know the numbers are low to try and make it seem like everything is more powerful than the average individuals, but it seems ridiculous that an empire that spans across the entire width of the Milky Way galaxy, why are they so afraid to just brute force something with numbers? It's really impossible to estimate how large the Imperium of Mankind should actually be, but if the Earth's population is an assumption of about 8.1 billion nowadays, and the Imperium of Mankind has an untold billions of soldiers in the Imperial Guard alone, that means that the military force of the entire galaxy can't hold up against the number of firearms in the United States alone. God bless this country. The wars for Armageddon should be much larger than they are written. Orcs respawn quick and constant rate, having a natural inclination to just Zerg rush the closest settlement with some manpower behind it. There's been multiple chapters that have gone to the world to defend it. Multiple titans, multiple knights, multiple everything really, but still, the numbers are laughably low. The first war for Armageddon does not specify numbers, but it also kind of does. It says the entire Space Wolves chapter was involved, a single company of Grey Knights, and the Armageddon Steel Legion. What does that make me guess the numbers? Well, assuming that the Steel Legion comes from all over the world, not just one band of brothers like how an actual military force is organized, we've got 10 to 100,000 men. About Space Wolves, I'd say 10,000, though they aren't really Codex compliant, and about 1,000 Grey Knights. Against Angron's armies, Daemons, Titans, and Knights. Sure, that sounds like a lot until you look at the actual numbers given. One company in Angron's chosen, the Forsworn, Lord not gonna try and say it's elites, and Skulltaker was warbands. So, about 4,000 more or less. Mutant cohorts, adding up to more than 170. 2 Titans, which require teams of them, unknown number of cultists and traitor regiments, and Daemon covens, assuming a coven is about 5 to 10, there's 24 of them. This is a war spanning entire fuck-off planet, and they have the numbers of the Normandy invasion. Games Workshop fucks up a lot of things. Showing off their plastics at their Adepticon, designing a website, letting fans make things to promote their products, making deals with companies that don't make them look like carnivorous, ravenous chihuahuas, and more. But this is a problem that normally they don't have. Numbers just don't add up. Luckily, the Black Library has seemed to realize this, and as they're not using numbers near as much. I can't find specific intended numbers for the 4th Tyrannic War, or for the Leviathan box, so maybe they're getting better. But the only way to really fix it would be to throw out spacebook numbers and just say, we gave up trying to keep to that and surviving. Some Apocalypse games have more units than are allowed in a chapter. Speaking of, GW, please update Apocalypse. I'm working on something for that in 10th. But where are we headed, Jojo?
To this room.
Oh, sweet. Let's shove off.